was a child, my family went to the same place every summer for vacation. It was a place called Zach's, and we sometimes fondly referred to it as Zach's Shacks, and was a set of 6 or 7 cabins next to a lake in northern Minnesota. We spent a week there each year along with another family, and some of my very fondest childhood memories are of that place. The cabins were nothing special. In fact, they were always in a bit or maybe a lot of disrepair, and everything was old and worn. But there was something that was so special about that place. The rhythm of going there each summer gave it a comfortable familiarity. When I arrive there now, even as an adult, it feels like coming home. I can feel myself relaxing immediately into a slower rhythm, ready for a week of board games and canoe rides, swimming and sunsets and campfires. These places that we come back to again and again in our lives take on a special meaning. They're not just places or buildings, they are memories. They are spaces that have accompanied us at different points in our lives and have held us in the good and the bad. I first went to Zach's when I was about 3 months old. I don't remember that time. But 31 years later, I brought my own 3-month-old baby for a week by the lake. In those 31 years, little things had changed, but honestly, the place was not all that much different. But I had certainly changed many times, from child to teenager to young adult, and now to a parent myself. And through it all, that place had been a constant, steadying me through the changes of life, a safe place each summer to land. Now, any kind of place can become one of these special places, these places filled with memory and emotion, these places that feel like home. But there's something about a house of worship, a place where a congregation gathers, that makes it extra likely to become such a place. Partly this is because there's a rhythm to church, a regularity to it. As we change and move through life, there is a steadiness to church, a comfort in the familiarity of it all, a safe place to land. But perhaps even more than that, it is because buildings like this one are places that accompany us through some of the greatest joys and sorrows of our lives. These are the spaces where we bless our babies, where family and friends bear witness as we promise love, where we grieve those that we've loved and lost. They are places we come to when it feels like the world is falling apart around us, and the places that hold us when we are falling apart. Church is about the people for sure, but there's something special about the building too, this place made sacred by our gathering and by our love. And doesn't it feel even more sacred today after 14 months away? I wonder if any of you felt yourself relaxing as you came into the room this morning. I wonder if coming into the space brought back memories of who you once were. I wonder if it felt to anyone like you were arriving home. I know that some of you have decades of memories here, and for others, it's your very first time worshiping in this space with us. I wonder, would you raise your hand if this is the first time you have been at a worship service in this room? There's a bunch of you, right? We're so glad you're here. Welcome to our church home. Though the rest of you have been in this room before, it is the first time for all of us, right? The first time having worship in this new space. This space that is so familiar and yet so different. This space that has changed so much over the past 14 months. I wonder what you noticed as Sadie took you around on that wonder walk earlier. I wonder how you felt. I imagine that coming into this space brings up all of those emotions around change that Rabbi Rachel Blair-Blatt shared in our words for reflection. Change can feel good, but also hard. No matter how much you want a change, there is loss involved. And change is nearly always a bit hard to get used to. You have to wear it in like a new pair of sneakers. I remember two things the most from the room where we held services at my childhood congregation. First, the sound and smell of the percolator brewing coffee at the back of the room. And second, the carpet. This carpet was kind of brown and orange, very like 80s vibes. And it had a circular pattern on it that I loved to trace as I sat on this floor listening to stories. It was one of the things that made me relax and feel at home when I entered that space. Now, several years ago, I came home for a visit and found that they had changed that old brown circle-patterned carpet. The new carpet looked so nice and clean. And even though I knew in my head that the old carpet was dirty and old and a little worn, very worn, and that it was probably way overdue to be replaced, my heart still felt a little sad. The sadness was about the carpet, but it was also not about the carpet, right? It was sadness about the forward march of time, nostalgia about those childhood memories, remembering who I once was and who I was not anymore. Perhaps when you came into this room today, you felt unabashedly joyful. I love that. Perhaps you felt proud of what this congregation has done together. Perhaps you felt grateful to be in this space, be back in the space, or be here for the first time. Perhaps you just felt some relief that we don't have to worry about rain on Sundays anymore. And perhaps you felt a little sad, nostalgic for what this place once was, and for who you once were and are not anymore. However you arrived here today, I welcome you to this sanctuary. This place made sacred by our gathering and our love. This place that is old and yet new, familiar and yet different. This place that we will bless with so many more memories in the years to come, new memories. We will again bless babies and proclaim our love and grieve our beloved here. We will gather water in the fall and flowers in the spring, and we will light candles, real candles, each Christmas Eve. We will welcome new faces and hug old friends and do a lot of wondering together. We will laugh and we will cry and we will sing and maybe we'll even do some dancing. It is so good to be here. It is so good to be here with you. It is so good to be home.